Hi guys, this is a review of my Specialized Langster bike. In this episode I will tell you about its advantages, why I think this bike is the best and the most efficient bike I've ever ridden, and I will also explain you some tech around this bike. First of all, this bike is a single-speed freewheel or fixed gear bike, equipped with the freewheel cog, which you can see here, that works basically as a freewheel, and on the other side of the wheel you can see a fixed gear cog. So basically you can flip this wheel around to go from freewheel to fixed gear. Personally, I ride single speed, so I'm not that extreme. Some people would say, okay, you are not a proper fixed gear racer, but I don't really care about this stuff. I prefer my bike to be comfortable to ride, and I don't really want to go to the extremes. And so this bike is equipped with Tektro rim brakes. I really find them efficient, and I never had any troubles with these. So it's been several thousand kilometers that I've ridden on this bike, and I still haven't changed the rim brakes yet. I didn't even need to change them. So basically they work quite efficiently, even in the wet conditions, even in the rain. So I find them really useful and really easy to adjust. So when I need to take my wheel off, I just put this little thingy up, and it loosens the area so that I can take off the wheel. And when the wheel is adjusted, I just put it back. So it works like wonders. So the frame in this bike is aluminum, but the fork, the brand of the fork is called Fact. It's carbon fiber. I ride frame size 58. The weight of this bike is about 10 kilograms, which is quite a lot for a single speed bike with no gears, but basically I just find it really stiff but also quite responsive, so it rides real fast. By default this bike is equipped with 25-inch wheels. I think the default one is Schwalbe. I find these sleek tires really efficient. So even though you only have a really small choice of gears, basically you just have one gear, it rides real fast. So the rolling resistance is really small on these 25mm tires. I think as a next choice for my tire setup, I will go for 23mm tires, but so far so good. So to tell you a bit more about the spec of this bike, so the wheel set on this bike is Axis Sport. These are really good quality aluminum tires, really light, really stiff. I've enjoyed it so far. It's very responsive, very nimble. When you compare this wheel set with, for example, a gravel wheel set, it's not as efficient in terms of absorbing bumps. So this wheel is quite responsive, light, but maybe not so comfortable for the off-road riding. But that's not the main purpose of this bike. That's not where this bike feels the best. This bike is mostly for city riding or for riding on smooth tarmac. The chainring on this bike is 5-bolt chainring, 48 on the front, and I guess it's about 17 on the back. So the ratio that I have here, it's really good for riding on the flat surface, but also it can be quite good for a certain amount of climbing, and yeah, of course for downhills it's not enough. You just freewheel most of the time when you... Guys, a couple of reasons why I find this bike the most efficient bike that I've ever ridden. I bought this bike second-hand on Facebook Marketplace for just about 1,500 zlotys, which equals about $350, which is like a really low price. And I made about 3,000 kilometers in this bike, so the price that I paid is really low for the value that I got. So basically the average spending on this bike, I counted in zlotych per kilometer. It's just about 0.5 zlotych per kilometer, which is like a really low price. It's probably like the lowest price that I ever paid for a bike per mile per kilometer. So usually the price would be about like 2 zloty per kilometer, but in this case, for this bike, with this bike, it's like probably like the most efficient spending that I ever made on a bike. So, to top it up, what do I like about this bike? I like the average speed that I'm able to sustain on this bike in the city conditions. Basically, when I do my urban rides, my average speed is about the same as on my cyclocross or road bike. Basically, when I ride this bike, I don't feel like I'm limited with the gearing, because basically in the city, one gear is more than enough actually. So this bike has a really low rolling resistance, which means that these tires roll really fast, but also the ratio that I get, 48 on the front, 17 on the back, it's like really perfect, because it's good for flat, but also it's good for slight uphills, and of course for downhills I don't pedal at all. So basically I just I'm just enough, this setup is just enough for me, because in the city you don't have many uphills, but also like you mostly ride on flat surface, and you have to like brake and stop quite often, and these brakes are like really efficient. So personally this bike made me feel like these brakes really suck, and the rim brakes like feel much more efficient for me than disc brakes. So thanks to this bike, I just really felt the difference between disc brakes and rim brakes. On an average city ride, I'm able to sustain the speed of about 26 to 27 kilometers per hour. I really have to like stop a lot at junctions, but basically I'm able to like gain speed real fast thanks to the gear ratio that I have. And I also like don't have to worry too much about the gear choice, because basically when I ride a single speed bike I only have one gear, so I like don't have to think about which gear to choose, and it takes away some hassle from city riding, because like you just don't choose gears, you don't have to make choice, you just ride, and that's what I like about this bike. So yeah, thanks for watching and subscribe to my channel.